Welcome back to A.R.T's Real Repairs for Real Customers. We have today a 2017 Ford Expedition door panel armrest that's damaged because the previous owner was a 400-pound behemoth. Now the new generation is inclined to replace more parts, and sometimes that makes sense, but it doesn't answer the question, can it be repaired? And the answer to that is especially important because parts are often discontinued or simply back-ordered, maybe even for 6 months or a year. So it behooves the mobile technician to be even more aware now of what we can do to repair parts instead of replacing them, and to repair them in a quality that mimics the original part. So that's the challenge. Can this door panel be repaired? Well, we don't know, but let's delve into it and find out. Yes, sir. This door panel falls apart just like those GM door panels we featured on this channel previously. It's just a minimum of plastic, like it's intended to support the weight of adults as they scoot around on the seat with their elbow on the door panel. One thing I do appreciate about these panels is the plastic hooks that attach the panel to the door. No need for other upholstery clips. Very nice. And once we inspect here, we can see the amount of plastic that's missing, and we'll take a closer look in just a little bit. Noteworthy, too, is the fact that the entire armrest comes off by removing screws. No need to break plastic welds on this door. This decorative metallic plastic piece just snaps off anyway. Let's get that out of our way, just for convenience sake. And I went after this part where the cable was attached, thinking that stud may have gone all the way to the armrest, but on a closer examination it didn't. However, it revealed this little snap right here. Pinch that and punch it through. And that little snap is an alignment feature, so that when we reassemble, that'll snap into place. It's also pretty handy here that the switch plate detaches with 4 screws. Pretty easy stuff. Now we want to take a closer look at our damage. Here's a broken piece of plastic. We can see where that originally came from. Maybe we can use it. And see, in the end of the panel, all the plastic is blown out. It's totally gone. And so we're going to try to construct something that will give us some structure. If you've seen in previous videos, you know that I keep stock of this plywood just for repairing door panels. It really comes in handy. And I'm dry fitting the pieces here just to see how everything might look once we glue it together. And for starters, let's glue everything in. Remember, hot glue is plastic, So we're actually fixing this whole thing with melted plastic. At least by saving this piece, we have some kind of structure. And I'm going to try to staple the vinyl around on this piece of plastic just to keep it secured. Not too successful here on the end, but we'll try again. That worked a little better that time. And now for the reinforcing plywood strip. By the way, we have just enough clearance to insert this strip in here without impacting the rest of the door panel. I'll get that clamped right away while the glue is still hot. And then this would be a good time to take a little break, let that glue cool and harden. It'd be a good time to get a little bit of tea. You can tell things are looking more solid already. Okay, so that was the face side. Now let's get the top side straightened out. I see the vinyl has come loose of the plastic where it was glued in place. So while we're here, let's just reattach all of that snugly. Not much to grab here. This part is really sketchy, but we're going to piece it together a little at a time. That plastic strip that I'm stapling to is actually pretty strong. The vinyl here is ripped out, but we're going to motor along anyway. Okay, it's time for some dry fit action here to see how everything is fitting up. You can see clearly here how we had enough clearance for that strip of plywood through there. And it's obvious now that we can do the same thing on the top. So let's do it. And like before, let's just clamp everything together. I'm going to throw a little bit more plastic down in here where all the plastic popsicle sticks broke out and fell out somewhere along the way. And once that cools, we can be sure that the entire top where you place your elbow will be nice and firm. Now I've come up short with some glue in that void. So first of all, I'm going to spray some accelerator down in there. When you use a gel, thick gel super glue, it's always advantageous to apply the accelerator first. That way it'll start hardening from the inside out. And then once it's all assembled, you can add some more accelerator to the top so you get it working from both sides. Just holding that just for a couple of seconds here, make sure we get a good grip. Okay, so we're back to doing a dry fit again because, as you know, everything here on the end is blown out. So we have to put something in here to anchor right here where this hole is. So I'll just mark a line here so we know how wide our pieces have to be. We're going to put in some shims. First I'm putting in a spacer, and then you can see that the brad nails are fine for length. And they're also fine for length for the block that I'm going to add my screw into. So first the spacer. So that's going to make up for all the structure that's fallen by the roadside. Now, just as we did before, along this top edge, I want to anchor where this vinyl has come loose from the plastic, just to make sure we're good for a long time. Now for the switch plate bezel, remember, just 4 screws. I'm out of frame with it here, but I'm putting that little snap piece back in that aligns the front of that armrest onto the door panel. And we're going to start with our screws down there on the good end anyway, because all of those original screw holes will line up. And now for the area of my biggest concern is getting a screw into this block. And I really like it. Well, I angled that one a bit much. Don't worry, I'm going to come back and straighten that one out. It feels so good, though, to know that these screws are going home into some solid wood. And for your information, these are the screws I happen to have on hand already. And we'll get the surgeon's assistant to close up. Okay, well that's about it, and that's looking pretty sweet right there. And before we go, let me just make note that I took this picture of the connectors beforehand. Here's the end connector on the door, Phillips screw in there, a couple of screws here in the door, one up here at the door handle in that recess, and of course there's a cap that goes over top of that. And the only other thing is 2 screws down at the very bottom of the door. That's all you need. Well, you do need one more thing. You need to sit back and admire for just a second. And thank you for joining in on the channel. I hope there's something there that you will find beneficial in your repair route.